stay sub 10% body fat year round? Well, you could say, well, I have
skilled workforce that can afford to work in these roles. In our 11 years at our childcare provider, we've seen probably a 500% turnover of the staff that work at this childcare center. A wonderful, well-regarded, high-scoring childcare center. They struggle to retain staff because of the pay and benefits that they're able to give. So the approach of this millage, the resources that it would provide, the stability would be helpful both to the sector as a whole, but importantly to families and our residents in this community. So I'm here just again as a parent to voice my support for this millage and to again bring it to our community so that they can vote with their values on this millage. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to pause public comment for just a moment. I think we're having some audio issues administration is trying to work on. And we want the public to be able to hear the comments that are being received by the commission. I appreciate everyone's patience. Administrator, would it help? Should we just take a recess for?
I don't know what's going on. So, yeah, but they're.
You want me to take 5 minutes, or how long would you? Okay. So commissioners, to give administration time to sort out our tech issues, this time we are going to move into recess for 10 minutes. Appreciate the community's patience. We are in recess.
Let's see if it shows. I didn't think it should. Yeah, because I had it muted. Maybe it'll pick up it's talking. That's what it's doing. That's why. Okay.
Did it show on there?
And then are you able to hear on that? You can hear feedback? Okay. Let's do it that way and I think we're set.
So we're there. She's gotta do it.
I told her just to reboot it. She said he never he's doing it now. So I told her to do that now for the regular meeting. So we're good now. Nothing will just show up here.
All right, but then this presentation, are we trying to get it up on the monitors?
At this point, it's, no.
Because we're on the HDMI. They can just use the control pad.
If you can do it real quick.
All right.
Do you want to put it up now? Yeah, if you can just do it now. I was like, I just do it now because he's the next. Do we think we're good, Taylor?
I think so.
Okay.
Wendy's, I can't check audio with my phone being out of commission, so Wendy's checking.
Yeah, I heard you loud and clear. So that's just- I believe so. Yes, we're ready.
All right, we are going to come back to order. Appreciate the community's patience as we sorted out some tech issues. We do think we have sound patched together for folks who are observing virtually. So we had paused the opportunity for public comment. We will resume that at this time. If there is anyone in chambers wishing to join us for public comment, please come forward, share your name and where you're from. Welcome.
Hello, good afternoon. It's afternoon still. I'm Gloria Foster Wimley. I live in Kalamazoo County, and I have a statement that I would like to read. I'm here today as someone who's concerned about the lack of support and services for children and families in our area, especially those 0 to 5 years old. Childcare and early childhood supports for our youngest residents are very important. These supports help infants and toddlers with their development and learning, providing this community with jobs, economic growth, and supports parents in the first few years of their child's life. Some of the most influential years. However, very few public resources are invested into the education and care of our young ones. And those that exist may not be easy to access. With many families facing steep cost of living and uncertainty in continued supports and funding from the state and federal government, we are faced with a need to create security and stability for our community. As a Kalamazoo County resident, I would like to see this county and Board of Commissioners step to the support of childcare and early childhood services. With investments into this sector, we can make this community a better place to live and thrive for everyone. As a former and retired educator, especially at the secondary level, I saw firsthand how childcare and the lack of provision for it affected the students who were coming into my building. And that kept them from them getting their own education because they were watching younger siblings. And then to see as an educator that those who were going into early education, loving the little ones, but their pay was so insufficient for them to actually make a livelihood. So I really hope that we can, as a community, will support a millage, or at least putting it on a ballot so that our our community can vote on it. Couldn't get it out. You knew what I meant. So we can vote on it and support the people in our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Gloria. Is there anyone else?
Good afternoon, County Commissioners. I'm Toby Hanna from Heritage Community Senior Living and also Isaac. I left a beautiful wedding just now, early, because the childcare millage is so important. You don't see many people dressed like this. At your last meeting, I told you how famous Michigan was for the High Scope Perry Preschool Project, back when I was doing my master's in early childhood education in Connecticut in the 70s. The High Scope study showed the powerful positive impact that high quality preschool education has on at-risk children, not just in kindergarten or elementary school, but their whole lives long. The return on investment of high quality preschool proved to be amazing. Higher graduation rates, increased earnings, lower crime rates, and all sorts of better adult outcomes. Please check out the High Scope study, highscope.org/research. But today I want to address worries about adding another millage to our taxes. With very high prices right now for gas and food and rent, that's a legitimate concern. However, it's really important to understand that the members of our community who have the hardest time paying their taxes are the ones who will benefit very soon from this childcare millage. The people struggling the most are often young parents with little children and childcare providers making very low wages, and people in their families who want to help them but cannot afford to. People who are struggling to pay for childcare or find slots available so they can go to work, and people who do the low-paid work of childcare will begin to benefit soon after taxes are collected because of this millage. And then they will be better able to pay their taxes and everything else. And the rest of us in this community will benefit long-term from the huge return on investment that we will get from significantly reducing the equities of who can afford high quality care. Please let the voters decide. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
What up?
Hi, I am Maddie. I am a mom of 4 little ones, 5, 3, 2, and 1. I've worked every aspect of childcare as a assistant teacher to director to now executive director of the Drop-In Child Care Center. And today I wanted to come as a parent because I just picked up my kids from daycare and it's childcare provider appreciation day coming up. And I think that we should highlight the amazing work that they do and how they have affected my family and how we need to show up for them. So I asked my son on the way here, since he's with the childcare providers all day, kind of what his favorite aspects of his teachers are. And he gave me a list, and the first one was, they cuddle me when I miss you. And that makes my day because for about a year straight, he cried every time I dropped him off, which I know is normal. I'm a childcare provider, totally normal. But it makes my day so much easier when I can go in there with trusted professionals who take care of my child. He said they teach me my ABCs. Great. He said they help me hold my crayon. Wonderful. I love that they're focusing on that with the fine motor skills, because as we know, just telling a kid to sit down and hold a pen doesn't work, but they're actually doing the sensory play, the working fine motor skills, which helps the kids eventually get those skills for kindergarten that they need. And the teachers know that that is important. And lastly, he said, they help me when someone takes my toy, which sounds mundane, but that is a big deal. The kids are learning problem solving from these teachers. He tells me every day, Mom, ask in a nice tone of voice and I can help. Will do, buddy. Yep, I will slow my roll. So he hears that and he's learning from those providers. They are more than just teachers. They are doctors in a way. My son has febrile seizures. They have a seizure plan in every room. They made that. They know when he's starting to act different and they'll give him his rescue medication right away. Those teachers know his medical plan. They are chefs. Sometimes they're serving, cooking, making the foods, cleaning up the tables while dealing with a tantrum over here, a diaper to change over here. They are parents when we're gone. They're the ones snuggling him when he needs extra help. They are therapists. They are behavioral support. They do OT and PT. My daughter receives OT and PT in the classroom. The teachers carry that on throughout the day. They have her weighted vest. They have her chewies. They have the devices to help her, and they're working that into their daily plan. Yet they're being paid typically less than $15 an hour. But a lot of them stay because it's what they love, but they can only stay because they have a husband who makes enough money to support their dream. A lot of other teachers, the time that he was struggling the most was when teacher turnover was high. And that's because they were college students using it as a stepping stone because they can't stay working $15 an hour. So to support our children the most, we need to up their pay. There's no other way around it. I worked as a director. I know that when you crunch the numbers, you would have to really up the cost for parents to even increase the pay for teachers. And that's not doable. I can't pay more money for my kids to go. I also just wanted to highlight real quick, as a foster parent, childcare cost is a big deal. People can't take kids because they can't find childcare. I'm able to step up and take more kids because I can bring them to work with me, but that's because other parents can't. It also slows down my jump to adopt. Right now we're working on adoption for my 2-year-old. I'm holding back and taking the process slow because once we adopt, we no longer receive the DHH funding for my daughter and I'll have to pay out of pocket. So it all goes into a factor of how we support our children in the whole. So I urge you today to let the voters decide, and I guarantee you we'll step up for our children.
And where are you from, too?
I am from 49004, the Parchment area.
Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon, commissioners. My name is Allie Van Heest. I am a single mom, a nonprofit leader, and a resident of Kalamazoo Township. I'm here tonight to ask you to place the childcare millage on the ballot, and I want to tell you why this matters beyond the policy. My son, Mars, is 1 year old. I started calling childcare providers when I was 4 months pregnant. I called every provider every month. I was put on wait lists, taken off wait lists, left voicemail after voicemail, and was told over and over again that there would be no infant availability for a year or more. I was scheduled to return to work in January of last year, and I did not secure full-time care until into March of last year. Those 2 months trying to work full-time while also caring for a newborn worsened my already severe postpartum depression and left me worried about my abilities at home and at work. That is what a broken system looks like in real life. And I am one of the lucky ones. I found care. I kept my job. My son is thriving. I want to be honest, though, about what that took. That took a job with a salary that could absorb a $1,300 monthly childcare bill, the same as my rent. That took a job with enough flexibility to survive 2 months of chaos and barely coming into work and trying to work from home while distracted with a baby in Zoom meetings. And it took the time and persistence to spend hours on the phone while pregnant and postpartum. Most families do not have all three of those things. There are 4 babies in Kalamazoo County for every licensed childcare slot. Waitlists run 12 months or longer. Providers earn under $14 an hour and are leaving the field because they can't afford to stay. And the families hit the hardest are more likely to be low income, more likely to be women of color, more likely to be working hourly jobs with no flexibility. They are the ones who have to leave the workforce entirely, take whatever care they can find, regardless of the quality, or simply go without. The childcare crisis in our community does not fall on everyone equally. It deepens divides that already exist. And a community that lets that happen is leaving some of its people behind on purpose. This millage has the potential to lower costs for families, raise wages for providers, and make care easier to find. It is a modest, targeted local investment in the people and infrastructure that make everything else in this community possible. I am asking you to trust our community with this vote. Put it on the ballot and let us say yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Hello, my name is Aaliyah Abdul-Mutakalim. I live in the 49009 area code over on Millwood, and I am here to tell you why I support the child care millage, and you should all too, and we should put it on the ballot. I am a mother of beautiful twin boys. They will be 6 at the end of May. They will be mad if I did not tell y'all that. And finding and affording childcare is already a struggle for one kid. So I've heard, but I had 2 kids at once who are the same age. So the cost of finding childcare and the ability to find even open slots was astronomical. And oftentimes, even if I did, even if we were able to find care, there was not a spot for them available because there was not enough space for infants. And I am still getting emails to this day saying that a spot has finally opened up for my infant sons, sometimes 2, 3, 4, and 5 years after I was added to the wait list. I have had to enter and leave the workforce on 3 different occasions because I just couldn't afford to keep my kids in daycare, and it was costing more than what my salary was, even though their dad and I were a 2-parent college-educated household. We had support from our families, from their grandparents, and it still was not enough coverage for full-time care. At one point, we were paying $2,800 a month for full-time care. I'm going to say that again, $2,800 a month. We literally still have $2,000 in collections right now for a child care provider that we owe. I wish I could pay them that $2,000 because their staff deserve it, because their staff definitely was not getting paid enough, but I don't have that money right now. So it's incredibly stressful. It really affected my mental health. I had a very hard postpartum experience. Not only did I have my sons in the May of 2020 on top of a pandemic, I couldn't even take half a day to myself so I could show up and be a present wife at the time and to be a present mother and not break down in front of my children who needed me the most. And no one should have to choose between working or having a family, going to school, and being able to afford their very basic needs at the same time. We need a solution that allows families the ability to achieve their educational and economic goals without sacrificing safe and affordable childcare. I wasn't able to go to school. I wasn't able to take higher paying jobs that I knew I was very well qualified for because we would lose the childcare subsidy, and it kept us in poverty, even though no one should ever have to live in poverty and make those decisions. So I didn't have the resources that I needed, despite being so well connected, having, such a supported family, and being as resourceful as I currently am. So I don't want anyone else to have to struggle and go through the same things I did when there is a solution available, and that is the child care millage. So I am asking you to support this initiative and put it on the ballot, because I have made it my life's work and my passion to advocate for reproductive justice. And justice means uplifting some of the most marginalized people who do not ever really have a say, and that is our children. So thank you so much for your time.
Is there anyone else wishing to make public comment? Welcome.
Good afternoon. I'm Jane Ghosh from Discover Kalamazoo. I'm here regarding our request for incremental American Rescue Plan funding that you got in email and via packet. And I shared in my presentation in December that 2025 hotel revenue was significantly below expectations, and that affected us. We did everything we could in 25 to minimize the impact, but it did have a knock-on effect on our 2026 budget. Within that, we prioritized cuts as much as possible to areas that would not affect visitor spending, and we were able to get most of the way there, but not all the way. Eventually, in order to make the numbers work, we did have to make some tough choices. And should you choose to invest American Rescue Plan funds with Discover Kalamazoo, it will benefit arts and culture nonprofits across the county, as well as small businesses across the county. So nonprofits, because we'll restore funding that we had to cut to groups that put on events that serve both our community and visitors, and you have that in your packet. And then small businesses, because we will get back our leisure ad spending to 2025 levels. And I thought I'd play for you one of the ads that we are currently playing in our 4-hour drive market.
Bring your crew to Kalamazoo. Hit the trails, bike around, then paddle the blue. Wander museums, catch a show, then relax with a brew. There's so much to do, so this is your cue. What awaits you in Kalamazoo?
So, and it's not all or nothing. So anything you should choose to invest with Discover Kalamazoo, we will put to good use. So thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to make public comment? Welcome.
Welcome, thank you. Good afternoon. That's right, come on over and help us see.
I got you. There you go.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Seniors have clout. Good afternoon. My name is Wendy Fields, and I'm a resident of Kalamazoo County, zip code 49007. And I'm standing here before you in support of the childcare millage. I honestly listen to some of these parents. I honestly don't know how they do it. I don't know how they can even think about affording it. I don't even know that I would even have a child in this time and age because it costs so much. I fortunately am a mom and had them in the 70s. Can't even remember the ages, but way back when. And so I was very fortunate in that my mom, my dad, they took care of our kids. So I didn't have to worry about daycare. I didn't have to worry about whether or not my kids were in a safe environment, any of that. And so in doing that, as our kids grew, my mom decided to open up a daycare home. And with that, understanding and realizing how much, even way back then, it cost, she took a reduced rate in childcare payments so that she could afford to babysit for others, and others could go to work without it being a hardship on them. She babysat children like Josh Evan, Josh who worked at the foundation, Ross Connor, children of Ruby Sledge, children of Jane Connor. And I say all of that because these are individuals that still live here in Kalamazoo County and their kids are doing extremely well. I also had the opportunity of working in Head Start, worked in Head Start for, I don't know, 10 years or so. And I do know the benefit of those kids being able to be in those programs. And at that time, I'm just sorry to say, yeah, I think they were better. Back then in the day, I worked them and they were good. So some of the things that were in place then are not in place now. And I just look at and see some of the children that benefit from those services. So when you're sitting here talking about paying $2,500 for childcare and that kind of money, that is insane. It's just insane. That you almost need a second job just to pay for childcare. And so I would ask this body to make sure you put it on the ballot, put it on the ballot this year, make it an election ballot, put it there so that people, the citizens have the opportunity to vote on it. Because I would venture to say, if you're not a two-family income and upper middle class, you can't afford it. You just can't. Thank you.
For anyone else? All right. Seeing none in chamber? Oh, people are shy. You're gonna be shy. If you wanna comment, come forward and you can even form a line, that'll be fun. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you. Hello again, Commissioner. All right. Hello again, Commissioners. My name is Jermaine Robinson of Pre-K International in Kalamazoo. I attended Western Michigan University to study business, not to become a teacher. But one of the most important things I learned in business that every organization chooses who they want to serve. Businesses identify their target before customers ever choose them. The same concept applies to community-based organizations and early childhood systems. My wife and I chose to focus on children who remain unenrolled and stuck in Kalamazoo County waiting lists. That focus allowed us to grow from approximately 8 children to 53 children in 2020 until COVID hit. We served children out of Colonial Acres, Pavilion Estates, Climax, Galesburg, Parchment, North Douglas, Hillcrest Acres, Wingate Farms. For the 53 children, we provided transportation for 27, helping many attend at rates at 85% despite transportation economic barriers. A child care slot that a family cannot physically reach is not accessed. That experience showed us that community-based organizations can solve access problems when they are empowered and held accountable for measurable outcomes. But our greatest challenge was not serving the children. Our greatest challenge was surviving financially while serving them. As a family-owned organization serving low-income families across the county, my wife and I were often forced to operate as a bank. From August through November, we were not paid. We relied on credit cards, high interest loans, personal financial risk to maintain payroll, transportation, meals, daily operations for children already approved for services. With that often felt like very little, we still found ways to serve children every day, make sure they were cared for and fed well. That is why I support child care investment, but also believe structure matters. Vouchers and parent-directed funding models that can help prevent child care providers from being forced to play the role of a bank to survive, only to provide as a bank who normally want to avoid serving underserved families. A properly structured voucher system is not simply funding, it is a community agreement that every child across Kalamazoo County deserves access to early childhood education, that employees deserve fair living wages, and that stable childhood access helps strengthen our local economy. Thank you for your time.
Is there anyone else? Right, seeing none. Administrator, do we have anyone online?
We would not be able to respond.
We can't bring folks over from being online today. All right, hopefully we'll be able to get a reboot and try that at our regular session. All right, at this time, we will be closing public comment. Thank you for all who participated. We're going to move to item 3, take up a review of accounts payable and payroll disbursements. I'll welcome Board Finance Director, Mr. Ryan Post. Come on down. Welcome, Director.
Good afternoon. Chair, Vice Chair Pro Tem, Board of Commissioners. All right, this evening we have an accounts payable claims list totaling $19,736,746.26 is presented for review. Of this total, the Board of Commissioners is asked to approve claims totaling $2,805,659.68. Payroll disbursements totaling $4,516,908.07 are presented for the April 24th general payroll. We welcome any questions from the board at this time.
Thank you, Director. Vice Chair and then Commissioner DeLuca.
Yeah, I was gonna actually pull something more, now I was gonna vote for it, but just to explain it to commissioners.
Yep.
The 19 million that we have in the claims list, the reason that it's so large is we're moving 470 or 401 to 470 on the capital project, correct? Is that?
Negative. Actually, this pertains to the Treasurer's Office. If I may clarify that, sir, respectfully, this is the delinquent tax revolving fund. For this particular batch of claims, it totals 14.5 million approximately for transfer to the local taxing units. So just to reiterate, these are payouts that are routine annually this time of year. So specifically in comparison for 25, right? That was 14.1 million. So a slight increase of about 400K from the prior year, but this is routine in nature.
Okay. Well, then I'll give you a heads up on the next meeting during the housekeeping. It's a housekeeping item under Board of Finance. There's like 9 or 12 million. I'm voting for it and I support it, but I just think it'd be good for the full board to be aware of the funding strategy of voting for 401 and 470 and that transfer within that.
Absolutely.
Commissioner DeLuca.
I withdraw. My question has been answered.
Excellent. Are there any other questions? All right, seeing none. Thank you very much, Director Post. Okay. All right. Now we'll bring forward the annual 2025 annual report from the KCTA and CCTA board. We'll welcome Kalamazoo Metro Transit Executive Director Sean McBride and their board chair Curtis Ardema. Welcome, gentlemen. Yes.
You have to turn that on, yeah.
Welcome, Mr. Ardema.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. We appreciate the time and attention on the work that's happening at Metro. And just as a reminder, we have two boards, the Kalamazoo County Transportation Authority and the Central County Transportation Authority. I know we have a partnership with the county in terms of populating those boards, so we appreciate the work that you all do on that. And those two boards meet together on a monthly basis. We have a relatively tight committee structure too, where we have all of our action items actually run through our committee process. And so we reset this a couple of years ago, and it's created an opportunity for really everybody on those two boards to have a voice and an opinion and an opportunity to comment on the items that are coming through our board governance process. So really appreciate the work that's happened from our director, Sean McBride, over here on that. And I'm excited to see where that's headed as well. So we have our focus, I think everybody here knows, but our focus is really on, and it says it there on the slide, but mobility and providing mobility for everybody in Kalamazoo County to get around the county. And I've been on the board now for, I think, 12 or 13 years, and I'm privileged to be able to be chair right now. And it's been exciting to see where we've come from, where we had really a city-focused system to one that's now regional in nature and spreads across the whole county. So I know we have had participation from board members here in those meetings as well. Commissioner Gissler sat on our board for a while before he rejoined County Commission, I believe, so appreciate the work he's done with us as well. So Sean's going to give an update on what we're working on. We have, there's an election upcoming for the KCTA, and so that will be on the ballot. There'll be some educational information on that Sean's going to provide. There was also a Central County Transportation Authority ballot question last November, and so that was approved by the voters, and so everything is moving forward related to that request. And the countywide one, which is KCTA, will be on in August. John, you want to take over from there?
I'm trying to hide this dog.
Good afternoon, commissioners. Hopefully I'm not contributing to the technical difficulties here. As we're doing that, I want to thank you all for your years of partnership and commitment. You all are the body that created the KCTA in 2005 and the CCTA, the Central County Transportation Authority, in 2014. And we truly appreciate your leadership and partnership with public transit. Thank you. See if I can not screw this up. So mobility solutions for all. Last year we did almost 2 million rides per year, and we're seeing a nice increase so far this year. And since our inception in providing public transit since 1967, then as a department of the city of Kalamazoo, over 127 million rides have been provided to our community. And mobility solutions for all, what does that mean is that people's transportation needs are immense. Approximately 15 to 30%, depending on urban population, about 30%, a more rural population, about 15%, do not have access to vehicles, a car on a regular basis, and must rely on other sources of transportation. And a main source of mobility is public transit. And we want to make sure our residents have options for how they get around the community and meet their needs to get to school, jobs, medical appointments, and services. Our largest service, Metro Bus, provided 1.7 million rides per day, almost 5,000 rides per day. We extensively serve the urban areas of Kalamazoo County, and our biggest routes serve the key spine roads of West Nage, Gull Road, and West Main. It's affordable, it's accessible, it's $1.50 is our base fare, and every bus has lifts and for people that have mobility issues. One of our partnerships that we're very proud of and has been in place for quite a long time is the Youth Mobility Program that we partner with the Kalamazoo Foundation for Excellence, KidNet, Kalamazoo Public Schools in the city of Kalamazoo, and most recently Kalamazoo Prep Academy. And students at Kalamazoo Public Schools and Kalamazoo Prep Academy have access to unlimited rides on the fixed route bus system. This upcoming year, we'll have over 635 passes available for students at those schools. And since inception of this program and in 2019, 310,000 rides have been provided on this program. So we're very proud of that. KidNet's a key partner with that. They help in our education of the program and are really the eyes and ears of working directly with the students on a day-to-day basis to make sure they understand the program and are good participants. And the passes are available for jobs, after-school activities, sports, and family need.
That's the question
Yes,
on
ma'am.
that. What would happen if, and I don't know how high the utilization has been, but do most of them get allocated out to students? And is there something, action that can be taken if they all get used up to provide additional action?
And just in the last, Chair Strab, just in the past couple of years, we have increased the number of passes from about 400 to 635 last year. And we want to scale it slowly just to make sure we're not outpacing the capacity of the system and the capacity of the school district to manage those passes. Metro Connect, this is a service that provides transportation for anyone to go anywhere in the county and even outside the county to the VA hospital. A lot of communities called Dial Ride. Last year we did almost 150,000 trips. We're seeing really large growth again this year. There's reduced fares for senior citizens and individuals with disabilities, and it's either $3 or $4 per trip. And when people ask me if I'm not sure if I need public transit or if I'll use it, this is a service that I encourage people to sign up for and just try it once or twice to make sure it's a tool in their tool belt when someday they need a public transit option, because you can get anywhere, anyone can go anywhere in the county. Metro Share is a van partnership program. We partner with nonprofit agencies and some government agencies. We did 25,000 rides, and basically these vans, we have about 11 vans available to partner organizations, and they have free unlimited use of those vans to get senior citizen individuals with disabilities to various locations throughout our community. And then our newest service, MetroLink, started in April of 2024 as a pilot program, and it's evolving into a permanent service option. We're very happy with the growth of this program. It provides the same hours of service as our fixed route bus system. It's very affordable, $1.50 per trip. And how it works is it's basically Uber for public transit, where you can use a phone app and sign up for a trip, and it takes you either connects you in two ways. It connects you directly to your location if that's the best option and it's within the zone. And the other option, it connects you to a fixed route bus stop, and then you have access to the whole public transit system fixed route public transit system by connecting to a fixed route bus. And yes, sir.
Sean, can I add one thing too? So maybe you were going to add this, but one thing that I think the board has asked a lot of questions about MetroLink, has been very engaged in this process. The numbers, and here, Sean's going to do it next, but the numbers, it's amazing. We're up to, I think we hit almost 10,000 monthly rides in one of the months earlier this year. So just great work by the staff in growing the service, but it's amazing that the need that's shown up for the service in the community as well. Sorry, I took your slide.
We often overlap. So when you start a new program, this is the kind of service growth you want to see, is just month-to-month growth. We are averaging over 10,000 rides per month at this point. And we are looking how we can continue to grow and just grow this program. And what I do like is that we have over 800 unique active riders to the program. We have a good mix of both new riders signing up every month and a committed group of active riders. And when you go on your phone app and sign up for the ride, it says 16 minutes. I think last month's average time to get the vehicle there is 18 minutes. So still pretty good wait time. And then it's usually the average trip is 3 or 4 minutes actually on the MetroLink. We really take pride as an organization of our value-added services and our partnerships, and these highlight some of the partnerships that we have with Kalamazoo County. After the tornado in May of 2024, I have the wrong year there. County, Metro Transit was on the scenes working with the how can we get people from tornado impacted zones to shelter and so forth. But there was an ongoing need as homes were destroyed and lives were impacted. And so one of the areas of need was out in the North Pavilion Township and Pavilion Estates specifically. So a program was created to provide additional public transit services out in that area using MetroLink and Metro Connect. Since for about a year now, we've been providing that service, and there's about 1,200 trips that have been provided since inception. And this is being funded through Kalamazoo County and I believe your emergency relief funds that you've received. So thank you very much. And then winter weather. This past winter is probably the worst winter I've felt in a while and impacted our community. Probably 13, 14 was what we thought was the next worst years. We were asked and greatly wanted to see how we could help service this. A lot of warming shelters were opened up throughout the community, not just in the urban core of Kalamazoo, but throughout the Kalamazoo County. And we provided about 1,200 free trips during a 2 or 3 week period during that time. And it was throughout the county using all of our various service options that we provide. We couldn't do this without an excellent team that is committed to serving the public. Team Metro, we have 130 employees. Most of them are coach operators and our maintenance staff. We have a strong partnership with the Amalgamated Transit Union, and they have about 28 administrative and supervisory staff. And importantly, our board of directors, we have an 11-member CCTA board and a 9-member KCTA board that you all appoint. And thank you for committing such excellent, diverse, committed board members. They are an excellent group and are extremely committed to their serving the community. Coming up on August 4th, we will be having a millage election, back-to-back years here. This millage is for our countywide millage that funds Metro Connect and Metro Share. It is for 7 years, and it will be for 0.36 mils. We have a fact sheet that we're placing. You can find out more information on our website. And I or Chair Artema and others would be more than happy to come out to any organizations that you represent or groups that you think we should attend. And we'd like to provide educational information about the millage coming up. And again, this is one of our key sources of funding, millages, along with federal grants, state grants through the gas tax, Act 51 gas revenue, and fares are our key sources of funding for providing the robust public transit services that we have in the county. And then moving forward, our goals are, our overarching goals, providing mobility solutions for all, which we've talked about, but we want to continue to innovate to make sure we're growing ridership, enhancing the customer experience, and then we're really having to adjust to meet new demand needs. If you all are contributing to those new demand needs as you're building a new parking garage across the street, conversion to the two-way roads, development throughout our community. So we want to be adjusting the services that we provide to meet community demand, cultivating community partnerships and public confidence through our service excellence. So thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you. Director McBride, I just want to express my thanks to Metro and to the board. In particular, during the harshest cold of the winter, and just the collaboration that Metro provided to county and the Office of Emergency Management. You highlighted the number of rides provided there, but those were life-threatening circumstances. And your team, your drivers, your board, that commitment to helping us respond. I'm just very grateful to all of you for that. Well, thank you very much. Absolutely. There are other questions from commissioners. See Commissioner Kistler and then Commissioner Toulouse, then Commissioner Ray.
Thank you, Chair. I have more comments than I have questions. And when Kurt said he'd been there 12 years on the board, he started when he was 12. I want to pay some special homage to two people that were involved up to their earlobes way back when. Most recently, Greg Rosine chaired for I don't know how many years and put everything right. And he contributed greatly to where Metro is now. And prior to that, I disagreed with her on almost everything except Metro, but Linda Peter was fantastic. I do take my hat off to her. And Linda, if you're listening from somewhere, I love you. Thank you.
Oh, sweet. Commissioner Bloom.
Just a quick question, an answer of 10 words or less. The two advisory boards, just to clarify, why are there two and how do they differentiate?
Sure, I can probably answer that. And John, Commissioner Gisler knows as well. Sure.
County, I was sitting in on what now is Metro Transit meetings, and I hated it. I did not like what you guys were doing at all because I live in the boondocks and I was paying the same rates for bus service that never came near me. And we fixed that, and that's how they did it. They put through a state law change to get the idea through that we could have two transit authorities melded into one. So the people in the boondocks didn't have to pay for bus service that they didn't get, but people that did want bus service could get that. So and I still get confused. It's Kalamazoo County Transit Authority, that's the countywide.
Countywide.
And the other one is
Central County, the urbanized area. Yeah, no, that's great. It's essentially connecting those who have access to the service to the millage that applies to that service. So like John said, it's an attempt to be fair and who's providing payment for the service that they're getting access to it. And so one way that this system can change too is that urbanized boundary can grow by precincts being opted in. So if there's a desire to have Metro service brought into your precinct in your municipality, then that effort can be made and the growth can occur at these different millage cycles that we're on roughly 5-year cycles right now. So that urbanized area can grow with the population and the rural area can stay the same and stay within just that KCTA boundary. It could theoretically also shrink too if needed. So it's an innovative way to try to match funding sources with the services that are provided. Yeah, thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Chair. First, thank you for the presentation. Always really good information. My question is about the Metro Link. I'm a really big fan of that addition. But I saw a post on social media the other day that said you can order it and get a ride anywhere in the Kalamazoo area in $5.50. So is that like everywhere or just those zones? I was a little confused by that post.
You want to talk?
Sure.
Okay.
Metro Connect's available to go anywhere in the county. MetroLink is not. It's within our CCTA boundary within 3 zones, and it's within those 3 zones that does not cover the full CCTA boundary. It's kind of shaped like a donut. And why is that? We're serving area. We have a hub and spoke fixed route bus system. So all our buses are just right across the street. When you're close to the hub, routes are very close together and very dense. As you get away, you're getting further away from bus routes and it's harder to access. So people don't want to walk more than a quarter mile to catch a fixed route bus. So this is designed to connect people to the fixed route bus in the outer areas where they don't have strong public transit access. Yep.
It's designed to be an extension of the bus system. So in that urbanized area, the fringes of it become less dense, so it is hard to provide that bus service. So this is an attempt to get additional access to those areas and connect them to the bus system. So you can get across the whole network by starting a MetroLink or finishing a MetroLink, but it's intended to kind of close those gaps in the bus system itself. But the county-wide service is Metro Connect, and that does go across the whole county.
Thank you. Yes, to clarify from my perspective, question, Tammy. I, living in the boondocks, could order a Metro Link to take me to the nearest place where I can tie into the buses. So if I can get it to, somewhere in Portage, I don't know, this shopping center or whatever, the whole bus system that will hold this up for me. And I have to arrange to be picked up by Metro Link at that same place, shopping center or wherever, and take me back to my house. You know, with gas being what it is, that's a pretty neat vehicle. So I would encourage people to use it if at all possible. And I have one other comment I'll make, showing my history with Metro Transit. And that was during the time after it split into two different transit authorities. There was a time when the urban or the rural component of that, actually the village came down by, I don't know, some percentage. It wasn't a huge thing, but I went out and listened to all of you newcomers, relatively speaking, the county, I campaigned actively and said, vote for this village because it's reduced for us out here in the hinterland. They voted no on it. All 14 precincts. Well, I sure have a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Consider.
I think just if I can add on to that, we've had a couple of years where we haven't levied the full millage, if I recall, as well. So we tried to be really responsible with the funds that are provided and link them directly to the services that are being provided. That's the goal.
Just a wee bit more specificity on that, and Commissioner Gissler's comments. The millage rate that he was talking about was 0.4 mils at that point in 2009-15 range. At that point in 2015, we reduced it to 3.2 range, and now we're, oh, sorry, 0.32. Not 3.2. It's a little bit of a difference. And for this millage, 0.36.
I appreciate the time, the presentation, and our gratitude to Metro for the partnership.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go on to item 5. We have a number of items here. First, we'll take up a ARPA award status update from Dr. Kaplan. Administrator.
Thank you, Chair, Vice Chair, Vice Chair, Pro Tem Commissioners, audience. We have a pretty quick report with some highlighted items that we want to draw attention to, specifically the gun violence data collaboration. That needs discussion to determine the appropriate reallocation of funds to support alternative gun violence prevention initiatives. This funding was really being leveraged to support a sheriff's office project, the records management system, and they're just delayed on initiating that RMS project to promptly engage the Upjohn Institute in a data partnership at this time. So there needs to be some discussion put into that. Also, there is the ISK Sport Housing project that was supported. They were able to have their funding reinstated by federal HUD, and so they rejected those funds for the county, so that's another $66,000. Highlighted in yellow was the list of Kalamazoo small business loan, and we've attached that documentation to the packet for review. They're very confident that they'll be able to spend down that balance. They already are in the works of working with northern initiatives to allocate that funding to other small businesses. So they believe they'll have that spent down by the fall. And so currently, as you know, there was a request. So we look at the red categories, about $266,000. And we received requests, obviously, from Discover Kalamazoo. Another request came in on Monday verbally from Supervisor Sherry Bell with Oshmo Township. They have a project that's being supported via ARPA dollars for the construction of a garage facility to house some of the our public safety, the sheriff's office vehicles. Their bids came back at roughly, their engineering estimate was roughly $230,000. They came back at about $594,000. So they're seeking some additional dollars if they were available. In all candor, I would certainly recommend that the board prioritize internal projects, particularly those addressing addressing capital repairs or replacements. For example, a recent failure of a chiller at the jail requires complete replacement at an estimated cost of around $500,000. And it's an unplanned expense, not in capital, and we have other similar unforeseen costs, as you know, that we're dealing with the jail right now. So that would be my recommendation. And lastly, what I would remind the board of is that we have gun violence dollars already baked into the general fund budget, which are operational dollars that have not been leveraged yet. It's already May. So my recommendation is to really reallocate the ARPA funding of the $200,000 now, leverage the general fund balance to address gun violence prevention and intervention needs, and really steer this $266,000 to the jail to replace the chiller, which will still have to come back to the board to use fund balance to finance the entire replacement. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Administrator. Commissioners? Commissioner Ray?
Thank you, Chair. So the $200,000 for the gun violence funding, this was not for sheriff's office. This was for the data, the program. I don't think that we should reallocate for anything other than gun violence. I think at the last meeting, I asked that the subcommittee reconvene to kind of talk about where to reallocate those funds to for the end of the year. And then the money we have in our budget, I think is like $90,000, and I think we already used some of that for something else. No, but it's still to be not the same $200,000. I thought it was allocated for transportation. It was blueprint for people.
Go ahead, Administrator.
Sorry, thank you, Chair. To answer your question, Commissioner Ray. So yeah, there was a request to leverage those dollars to support an endeavor through, I think the United Way was coordinating it, but nonetheless, yeah, that funding was picked up by a different organization, so they never leveraged our funding.
Yeah, I don't think we should reallocate it for that. I think if that needs to happen at the jail, we need to find funding somewhere else and reconvene the gun violence committee to talk about where this money should be allocated, especially in light of the ongoing gun violence in our community.
Thank you, Commissioner Ray, and apologies that subcommittee has not been reconvened. So we'll move that forward right away and get with prior membership and get something scheduled for discussion. I am in agreement with that. Other commissioners? Vice Chair, and then Commissioner Duluth.
Yeah, I'm going through these lists. So you've contacted just about like everybody, like not to be the external ones. For instance, we just saw Metro Transit and their disaster relief, that other $36,250. They plan on spending that, and all these other dollars that communicated the desire that they would plan on having that spent by the end of the year. Do we have a date that if they don't have it spent by, then we automatically pull it? Or what was their original contract for a lot of these things? Because do we not, I mean, at some point, if they say, oh, we're going to spend it, and it gets to be like October, at what point do we emergency pivot?
It's a great question.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. That's a great question, Vice Chair. So I've asked for reports from everyone actually on this list, and everyone has said that they would have funding spent by the fall. But really, that's the discretion of the board. If I have direction to tell applicants or awardees that they need to have the funding spent by June 1st, and they have till June 1st. That's really the prerogative of the board.
Yeah, I think that is an apt suggestion, because what we don't want to do also is pivot on a dime without our partners having awareness that that funding may be clawed back. So I think it is probably very prudent for us to set a specific time and direction, and that can be then communicated to our partners, and we can be prepared to respond. Vice Chair?
Yeah, I think this board needs to make a determination at either the last meeting in August or the first meeting in September, that these are that either it's spent or we absolutely 100% know why. Here is a detailed explanation to the Board of Commissioners why it will be spent before January 1st. Because if it's not, we have to give it back to the government, federal. And if we've got September 1st or whatever is that drop dead deadline, that gives us a chance to kind of get that out to the community for emergency relief funding in like November, that can be spent in the next 30 days.
Thank you, Vice Chair. And just for some feedback from administration is, a quarter, if we targeted September 1st as a deadline for expenses to be receipted to us, is that sufficient for us to be able to respond effectively? And, what would you want from this board to direct you to provide the communication to our partners?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I think what we would like, we could have a resolution placed on the May 19th agenda to memorialize this desire. But I think absolutely September gives us plenty of time. We have a ton of internal projects. I would highly recommend that the board do not send that money out to the community. I've just explained right now that there is a $500,000 chiller that needs to be replaced, and that's just one capital project. So there are internal projects that have got to be addressed before we address community needs, because if we can't serve our employees and the public that are visiting our facilities, it's going to make our jobs even harder. So I think that we could deploy those resources immediately for internal needs. So September would be more than fine with us on that.
Thank you, Dr. Catlin. I think one other thing for us to consider too, as we sort through that and your recommendation, there are plenty of needs in the community and they are valid and do need to be addressed. But we also need to recognize the length of time to then vet proposals, contract them, get the funds deployed, and to get the money spent if we pivot to additional community options. Is there other? Commissioner Gillett?
Despite the wishes of the administration. I serve on a nonprofit, and for me, and we give a lot of money. For me, I always weigh heavily on people who actually show up and ask, and I don't think the big ask from Discovery Kalamazoo, but Jane Ghosh has been here twice in person and sent emails. I totally support Discovery Kalamazoo. I think they do great things for this community. And she's not asking for a whole bunch of money, and I would like to support them in their requests. And of course, I would like to support also Allocation Township. I know we've already given them some money for this project, and obviously things came in a little higher than they expected, and I support that as well. And the thing with the chiller, well, I don't know, why is it such a surprise? Don't these things have a lifespan? And we just don't, I'm just, it's like, why all of a sudden now we have a $500,000 expense that was just never even out of.
Thank you, Commissioner DeLu. And I do know, to credit of administration, they are helping us build a more solid long-term capital improvement plan. It's something that, we've needed for a long time, and leadership is helping us with that. I'll go to Vice Chair.
Yeah, we're definitely working on the CIP plan. How it was, CIP was funded in the past was there was a purposeful surplus, and then we use that surplus for CIP. We've never done, we're transitioning, Carol is working on this, we're transitioning into a 5-year CIP plan so that we can actually have life expectancy. The question that you asked was very basic. We should have been doing this for the last 20 or 30 years. We were not. We started doing this a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, and we're transitioning into that. And another thing, we need to put capital improvement CIP as a line item into our budget and not rely on a golden ratio or a formula to fund our CIP, because the object of good budgeting is to not have a golden ratio. It's what's coming in and what's coming out, and they equal each other. You don't purposely create a surplus or what could be a surplus so that we have a golden ratio to fund our CIP and other projects. I really, and we're working on this, and Ryan has done a great job of getting it down. And I remember saying 4 or 5 years ago that it was so out of whack, it wasn't going to happen in a year, but it would happen in 5. And we're about 3 or 4 years into this project, and we'll probably be done in about 2 years. Actually having our revenue and expenditures meeting. So we're working on that project, and that was a very, very good question. We should have been 20 years ago.
Vice Chair Pro Tem and then Commissioner Ring.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I sat on the CIP. We met last week, and appreciate Assistant Administrator Cole was working diligently with our administrator and our staff to align our budgets so that we are actually budgeting for our normal operations, not for the unexpected. But we have to also keep in mind that things break. Take a look at tonight, an issue with our technology. We're working on it, we're gonna fix it. But we need monies to be available to do that. Because technology doesn't always work great and whatnot, but I appreciate everybody's support and understanding that we're working to fix it so the budgets are more in line with their operations, and CIP is kind of going to be budgeted for the extras. So thanks to Chair Taylor or Vice Chair Taylor for all his work on that. He's good with those numbers, and our administration and all of our staff is working diligently to get this done and get it done soon.
Thank you, Commissioner Ray.
Thank you, Chair. I just also wanted to lift up that the allocation for the gun violence came with a resolution where we were allocating $1 million for gun violence, and this is just remaining funds. I don't think that, I want to say I do think that we need to prioritize internal projects. I just don't think it's appropriate to do so with this funding. I think we should have reconvened the subcommittee a long time ago. I don't think we punched the community because we've been sitting on the money and not moving forward, because we did get one proposal that we didn't like. So we probably should have decided discussion a long time ago. But I just wanted to lift up that this came from a resolution declaring gun violence a public health crisis, and it still is, and we should utilize the funding for that reason.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner Ray. And that was a landmark collaboration that you brought forward between the city and the county. And I think we will reconvene. Administration is working on that. But it's really all the rest of the unspent ARPA funding that I was lifting up in my comments. So we'll dig in and figure out what to do with this $200,000. Commissioner Gissler.
Thank you, Chair. With respect to gun violence, I know we've got the money allocated and we've spent a portion of it probably with United Way, but do we have any date when we can expect to see some numbers that indicate it's working or it's not working? Because throwing money at it without any feedback in terms of data seems to be not only a very good way of running our business.
Yeah, Commissioner Gissler, thank you for that. So recently the Gun Violence Summit was held, and there's been a significant reduction in community gun violence. Administrator Catlin, do you have any firm dates on when the next reporting comes to us, or resources that we can reshare back out to the commission?
Absolutely, I can reshare. Their funding actually terminated within that $800,000 terminated around December 2024. So I sent out the last report sometime around that time, but I can send that data again, quarterly report back out to the commission so you can review that data. We funded, I believe it was a couple agencies, Urban Alliance. There were a couple others, but not broken, possibly. So I can resend this data, but we also have the city's data too, that for organizations that they supported within that same $1 million that they allocated.
Thank you. And we really did see a significant decrease, though it continues to occur. We just recently had a shooting in the community yet this week, so there's more that needs to be done. Go to Vice Chair, I'll come back if you need.
Really quick, that was another great question, because I was originally a little bit of a skeptic when I read the blueprint for peace and the 25 different points and how we were going to fund all of these different pots and whether it was going to make a difference. Now, the metrics that I got back that turned me into a believer in this was the number of shot gun shootings that went down each and every single year since the inception of the program. The violent crime that went down, I think it was now Kalamazoo, and I don't quote me on this to use the Florida press, but I think they did an article on the reduction in the last 3 years in violent crime, murders, and gun violence in the greater Kalamazoo area. Not only did we decrease, but we decreased faster than the national average. So that shows us that what we were doing at least was somewhat effective. So those data and metrics that I got, and it was out of a news report that I saw all this stuff that I thought, wow, maybe this is making a difference. And if I was that gun safety, I would find that article and come up here and explain that to all the commissioners, because they did a great job of explaining when the inception of this program is and what happened to violent crime in the Kalamazoo area.
So I will in brief. I'll entertain Beth Berglund, works with Michigan Transformation Collective, who helped author the blueprint for peace, and I see her jumping to speak to it, so I will.
I'm not jumping to speak to it, but yes, there is updated data that can certainly be sent, that the ARPA dollars that went through United Way, the last round of that was for a summer program. We're mostly focused on summer programming, but a lot of the things that you are hearing about now, including the childcare millage, are because of the Blueprint for Peace, are because of these cross-systems wide social determinants of health that we're trying to address as a community, as an effort to address the upstream issues to gun violence, because there are ways in which emergency response needs to happen before and after a shooting happens. And that's what everyone thinks about, is like the number of shooting statistics that have gone down. The city of Kalamazoo recently released new statistics. There was a big blueprint summit a few months ago, so we can send that all that information, all those slides back over to you. But suffice to say, like, the things that are happening in community around these issues are, from the police department's perspective, across the social services, really showing an impact, not just on the emergency response after after a shooting. So I don't want to scroll through my phone and give you the data, but we will send it to you as soon as you tomorrow. I was like, we're here actually.
Thank you, Beth. Commissioner Gisborne.
Thank you again, Chair. Even though the $1 million was basically ARPA money, I would like to see maybe a similar presentation concerning gun violence to what we just saw today from Metro. 10 minutes, bring the numbers, put some slides up, because right now what's in my mind is that we have committed to doing a lot of study and doing the planning, and it's all filled with the right words, but I haven't yet seen the numbers that apparently do exist. I'd like to see those laid out so everybody in the community can see them.
Absolutely. I will take that suggestion, and as chair will entertain an opportunity to invite our partners to present. Is there anything further, Commission? Okay. All right, let's go on. First reading, request for approval of a resolution reallocating American Rescue Plan funds from Sunset Lake Dam Reconstruction Project to support the Parker Drain Project and establish a new ARPA project stream. Administrator?
Sure, yes, thank you, Chair, Vice Chair Pro Tem, Commissioners, audience. This project is the Sunset Lake Dam Reconstruction Project was approved as part of the one of the subcommittees. I believe it was the Water, Sewer, and Infrastructure Committee subcommittee that was formed. Drain Commissioner's Office was awarded $2.5 million to reconstruct that dam. They've gone through and determined through their budget process that all of that funding won't necessarily be needed because they've received grants and they have other philanthropic support for it. However, the Drain Commissioner would like to reallocate the remaining portion of that initial award to support another drain project, so that way it takes relief or pressure off the residents and the other contributing entities that have to pay for the drain. So it's the Parker Drain Project, and that's what he would like to use it for. So still relevant to the Drain Commissioner's Office. So he'd like that entertained in first reading as on this committee of the whole for consideration.
Thank you, Vice Chair Pro Tem.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I am in support of what they're saying they're doing. My question comes is, will they be able to spend this money before December 31st, given the size of it, with a pivot to a new project. Short term, would they be able to allocate this funds and get it spent in the time that it needs to be done, because it is ARPA money? Thank you.
Thank you. Administrator?
Yes, thank you, Chair, Vice Chair Pro Tem. Yes, the Drain Commissioner indicated this, I believe this project would be a summer project and it would be done in the summer and be completed much before December 31st.
Thank you. Commissioner Gisler?
Thank you, Chair. Some months ago, I sat in with you and the Drain Commissioner. I'm not sure, Wendy was maybe there. I'm not sure who else. And it had to do with the run through after the dam at Sunset Lake and how that was going to be sculpted or whatever to make it look appropriate for the creek that ran past the mill project. This is not impacted in any way on that. Okay, good. And because I've got total confidence in our Drain Commissioner, I think he does a hell of a job, and I don't like to badmouth anybody else. But, his predecessor liked to operate as Drain Commissioner behind the desk, and the first thing Bursman did was he put on his hip boots and walked out and started getting muddy. And the farmers out in my district say, "Good man, you know, he's getting out there and getting dirty and making things happen." Very good. I'm glad that he's not doing anything nasty here. Thank you.
Good. They have a fun team in that office as well. So, all right. Anything further on that? Vice Chair?
Yeah, I appreciate the way this is. This isn't an ARPA stream where it comes in. You said you're told us that you were gonna do a new sidewalk or whatever it is. Now we want, you know, new windows or a new roof or a whole new building somewhere else. This is one dam project for another dam project, and they came. Dam project. But they came and they asked us, and it came through that we talked about it. This is how I think it should be done. I appreciate the Drain Commissioner bringing this forward, and I've got no problem with it as well.
All right. Thank you. Let's move forward to our next. So first reading, this is a request of approval of a resolution authorizing change order approval authority for 440 North Church Street parking structure project. This just extends the administrator's authority to make change orders up to $150,000, which is in alignment with our purchasing policies. Otherwise, administrator, is there anything further you'd like to address?
Other than, no, Chair, I mean, really, I think you hit the nail on the head. Other than just to keep the momentum and expediency of the project, obviously, it could cause delays if we had to bring every single change order back to the board. This would only extend, and in alignment with purchasing policy, authorize the administrator's office to approve change orders up to $150,000 within the project budget. So within this specific project, it'll be within the GMP, the guaranteed maximum price. So anything outside of that would have to certainly come back to the board anyway, because it would be an increased budget. And anything above, even if it's $150,000 and 1 cent, would have to come to the board. So, and in the interest of transparency, with every change order, even if it's $5 up to, it doesn't matter what it is, we will still generate a report similar to what we curated for the landing place to provide the board and the public with transparency of any change orders on the project.
Thank you, Administrator. All right, seeing no further questions there, let's move next to our first reading, a request for approval of a resolution to appoint Joseph Joe Ravello, MMAO, as Equalization Director. Anything further? Ravello. He even had it for me, and I practiced, and I still got it wrong. So, Mr. Ravello, thank you. Commissioner Gisler.
I'm going to have to work on that too. Hanson was a lot easier for me. I would like to know if those, the alphabet soup behind your name, Joe, is the certification that in order to be an equalization director, you are required to have by the state. Is that it? Bingo.
We're seeing nods from the gallery there.
And I'll work hard enough on getting your name right. Would you at some point tell me what the MMAO stands for? You don't have to do it.
Please, Administrator, thank you.
Oh, excellent. On the ball.
Absolutely. So the MMAO, which is also what obviously Director Hansen possesses, is the Michigan Master Assessing Officer credential. And it's required, it's the highest level of certification issued by the Michigan State Tax Commission, and it's required to serve as the county equalization director for state statute.
Well, we're lucky to have someone in the organization with those credentials. So congratulations and thank you. We'll welcome that first reading. All right, we'll go next to first reading. This is a request for approval to adopt a proclamation recognizing Child Care Provider Appreciation Day. We're taking this up at Committee of the Whole and the regular session because that day is actually May the 8th. So this will just allow us to move that proclamation in time for recognition of the date. Okay, all right, nothing further there. We'll move to closed session. At this time, we're going to adjourn to closed session pursuant to MCL 15.2688H, purpose of considering a written legal opinion concerning the Michigan Urban Cooperation Act. This was already voted on for approval for discussion at our last meeting on April 21st, so we will adjourn to closed session. Thank you, Council. I'm sorry.
Make a statement. I was advised by corporate counsel to not attend our closed session meeting as I serve on both the land bank and the board of directors or the board of commissioners. I am a non-voting member according to the land bank authority. According to us, I'm a non-voting member. According to the land bank authority, I'm a voting member. According to us, I was appointed in 2023. The things are all different. We can't figure it out. But I guess I don't want, and if we're discussing in closed session what type of authority or what type of group we're going to go into, I want to be a part of that conversation. If we're going in to discuss legal strategy as it pursues to the land bank, I should not be part of that discussion. So I will not go into that room as you discuss that first part of that. If you are discussing what sort of direction you want to pivot to or move towards, I would like to take part in that conversation. I hope somebody would grab me.
Thank you, Vice Chair Cohen. With that, we are adjourned to closed session.